right, Mr. SimpleBiz guy, let's start the show.
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the SimpleBiz360 podcast. My name is Jeff Mason, and I'm your host for episode 250. Oh, you got to love the AI crowd, right? Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much, Matt. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a landmark episode for sure. We're almost 5 years into it. 260 will be 5 years on the button. So we're very elated you're here and appreciate you tuning in. We can be found on 28 audio platforms, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, you name it. And then we're also on IGTV, which is Instagram, and then YouTube and Rumble as well. So, and then you go to SimpleBiz360.com. We've got the podcast tab on our website. It's got all 5 seasons there. You can look at the show notes, pick a show that might be of interest to you. And, you know, we really put it all out there in hopes that, you know, there's some things that from time to time may catch your interest. You may want to go back and look at them and say, you know what, this podcast might be of value to me as I'm going through this, you know, XYZ spot in my career or, you know, with my company, and I want to listen to this. Maybe there's some helpful advice. So we hope that works for you. At any rate, today we want to be talking about multitasking and how it can possibly be disrespectful to associates or customers should it be done in the wrong way. So what do I mean by that? Well, I used to work with a guy, and it was, you know, it was very annoying and interesting to watch this play out. So after a while, I started being a silent observer just to see how this, you know, how the reaction around the room would be. But we used to go to meetings, and we go invariably in these conference rooms, and this person that I was traveling with would set up their computer and start doing emails in front of all these customers. And, you know, the eye rolling and the hand, you know, the shrugging of the shoulders and the one person looking at another person like, what's this guy doing? And it didn't faze this gentleman at all. It didn't dawn on him that he was being disrespectful by just, you know, he's in their house, he's sitting at their table, and immediately breaks out his hardware and just starts doing business like, you know what, I'm smart enough, or I'm good enough, or whatever. I can handle this. Don't worry about it. You know, and but what it really was doing was sending a very, very alienating message, in my opinion, to the customers, because I watched their reaction, and it was not healthy time after time. So, you know, this is just one thing. If you're doing that, if you're one of those violators, man, I'd ask you to rethink that one and to avoid that, because you're not creating the best customer experience by any means. You're not. It's just coming off very bad. Now, other thing, which a lot of us do, myself included, I do have to say I've done this and do catch myself doing this, is, you know, the phone rings, you're in the middle of doing a big email, you're in the middle of a project, you're typing something, you got a sentence going, you answer the phone, and you just continue typing, and you continue doing that while you're talking to the person on the phone who's calling you with a valid business question or reason or whatever. And, you know, they hear the keyboard being hit. They can tell you're split, you know, you're giving them split attention, you know, and that they're really not the focus of attention, and that, you know, maybe did I call you at a bad time? No. This is fine. And, you know, the person's being polite on the other end of the phone, but they really feel like saying, you know, dude, can you stop typing so we can just have a conversation? And maybe you just shouldn't answer the phone. You know, how many times have people answered the phone? Hello? You know, and you go, yes, Mr. McGillicuddy, you know, I was just wanted to call and see if you had a couple of minutes to talk right now. Well, I'm in the middle of a big conference meeting. What can I do? Well, dude, why are you picking up the phone if you're in the middle of a big conference meeting? Just don't pick the phone up. Turn the phone off. In fact, that's being disrespectful to the people you're with by having the phone on rather than turning it off to give them your full attention. So, you know, this person's violating the multitask rule right there. So, you know, really, seriously, I mean, when you're in those kind of environments, put your phone on silence, you know, just like you're in church. Have respect for the people you're with. Give them your undevoted attention, undevoted time. And this multitask, you know, it's not impressing anybody. It's making people upset. And, you know, colleagues, associates, you know, you've got to work with these people. You go into a conference room for an associate meeting or a, you know, team meeting, and you're constantly banging out work while they're trying to implement strategy and talk about pitfalls and, dangers ahead. What can we avoid? What can we do? How do we plan this out? And you're giving him split time. It's not a healthy thing. Now, what really propelled me to do this podcast and spend some time on it, although it's one of these things that, I'm guilty of from time to time myself, and it annoys me, but it's the phone one. I've been going through a series of phone calls with a certain person, and the person calls me, and here's the way it goes. Hey, I wanted to, hold on, Jeff. The reason I'm calling is I wanted to, I wanted to call you because there was this, okay, dude, this is me. This is my thought bubble as this is going on. Like, I don't know what you're doing over there, but just stop what you're doing. Grab your thoughts, put them into words that I can understand. My time is important, and I don't really want to be sitting here listening to 5 choruses of ums and ahs and grasping and reaching until you figure the point out, only to be, you can't now complete the sentence because you got to take me through another 5, choruses of ums and ahs and ohs and to finish the sentence. Put down what, and invariably I know what's happening because this person has said, dude, I'm really sorry. I got a text message I got to answer. So you're doing a text message while you're trying to have a conversation with me. You called me. I didn't call you. Why are we even having this conversation? And this goes back to the experience economy, right? When you look back at the 2 authors of the Pine and Gilmore, the authors of the experience economy in 1999, what did they say? They said the currency of the experience economy is time. And I take that time and I wrap the word respect for time around. So I wrap respect for around the word time. Respect for the time of your customers, for your associates, your team members, your colleagues, your family, your wife, your kids. They know when you're giving the situation split attention. My wife picks it up right away, and she knows, and it annoys her, and rightfully so. She's absolutely in the right. My daughter famously, we were playing a board game Saturday afternoon when she was about 2, somewhere around there, 3, or we were playing something on the grounds. I think it was some type of board game, Candyland or something. And I was watching college football, and so half my brain was focused on that. And so every time she would move or she would have a play, I would gravitate to the TV to see what, the 2 colleges were doing. And then when it was my turn, I'd focus, and then I'd look away. And my poor daughter, she felt terrible. And she finally said, Dad, either we play the game where you don't watch the TV or I'm not going to play. And it broke my heart. And I kid you not, I never watched college football again while I was playing with my kids, or any sporting event while I was playing with my kids, because I realized she stopped me in my tracks and she told me, Dad, I'm not as important as that football game. And man, she's 20 million times more important in that football game. And we can do the same thing with customers. So just think, and associates. And so just think about these 3 things. And you know what? When you call somebody and you ask them for their time, just make sure that, they're the most important thing in that phone call, and make them the most important thing in that phone call. And you'll have a good phone call, I'm pretty sure. So we want to leave you today with the great Lost in the Shuffle tune, Peter and Gordon, who actually were part of the British invasion. They went on to some very successful post-singing careers. They only sang together for a short while, put together some pretty good song catalog. And one of them I just love is Leave My Woman Alone. So you know what? Leave these troubles alone. Pack this whole multitasking in front of customers and associates up put it in your rearview mirror, go down the highway like you see the graphic here, the great asphalt road with the double yellow line, heading through the dunes, and you're looking through the front windshield, not the rearview mirror. Leave that stuff behind and operate a little bit differently starting tomorrow. How about that one? All right, Peter and Gordon, and leave my woman alone, and we will see you in 168 hours.